Day one of fall camp, preseason camp, whatever you want to call it, starts in Clemson, South Carolina. It started today. We're going to talk about some of the observations that I've read about, some of the reactions, some of the thoughts, how some players looked. Of course, everyone's talking about TJ Moore right after. I welcome you to the show. I'm Brian. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll subscribe. It is free, and if you want to support the channel, well, it's free, and that's the easiest way to do it. I'm glad you're here. So, Clemson will play their very first football game 4 weeks from this coming Saturday. So today is August the 1st. It's Thursday, August the 1st. So in 4 weeks, Clemson and Georgia will get together in Atlanta, 12 o'clock. I believe that's on ABC. And of course, the college football season, week 0 starts 3 weeks from this coming Saturday. Notre Dame and Florida State will get together in Dublin. And I know some of you are like, all I care about is Clemson football. Yes, I love Clemson football, but I love college football. So I will be watching. I'm really excited. So fall practice, preseason, fall camp, whatever you want to call it, kicked off today. And we pretty much know who everybody wanted to see just going at it, and it was TJ Moore. And as I clicked through all the various articles from all the various news outlets and legacy Clemson media, what did I say there? It's just TJ Moore, TJ Moore, TJ Moore, TJ Moore. And the thing about it is, we need someone to come in and be a big body that is dominant. And that's what we've really been missing. We've been missing a dominant wide receiver. I'm not saying that our wide receivers are just bad. I that's one of the things that I try to get. I try to keep us away from, is just saying that our wide receivers are bad. If you want to say that they're not as dominant as they once were, you're right. You're 100% right. I won't argue with that one. But to say that they were bad, no. It's just they're not dominant. That crazy wide receiver you thing that we had going for us for a very long time. The T. Higgins, the Mike Williams, the Hunter Renfrows, the Amari Rogers, going all the way back to the Sammy Watkins and Nuke Hopkins this is what you think about when you think about Clemson football. Deion Kane, I know a lot of times Deion Kane kind of gets lost in the shuffle, but Deion Kane was an unbelievable recruit for us, and he came in and did a lot of great things. But we haven't seen that dominance. We haven't seen that dominance, and to have two big bodies now, especially TJ Moore being a bigger body. Now he's about 190 pounds, but having that really, really dominant frame, and you see dominance out of him. That is what Clemson needs right now. While the offensive line is still working itself out, while we're trying to figure out what's going on with Cade, if he can work through some of the poor habits that he's picked up over time, we need to know that if the ball is thrown in the general direction of a wide receiver, that wide receiver will go up and get it. Too many times we look at these quarterbacks and we're like, you've got to throw a better pass. Let's pause there. In Cade Klubnik's case, going all the way back to DJ, yes, you have to. But last year we saw Cade throw the ball to wide open wide receivers, and guess what happened? The ball got dropped. I mean, the guy can't go out there and catch the pass too. So these wide receivers, I talked about this the other day, and I misspoke. If anybody listened to it, nobody said anything that I know of, but I was merging together two thoughts and didn't make it very clear. But in the year that Clemson won the national championship with Trevor Lawrence, that 2018 championship, you remember they played at Texas A&M. And Trevor threw the ball up to T. Higgins. He threw it up. He threw it in his general direction. And what did T. Higgins do? It's one of the most epic plays of that season. He adjusted. And he possessed the football. And so what we're looking for at this point, we're looking, as Clemson fans, we're hoping that though they're true freshmen, I'm not putting too much expectation on them. I think that's unfair to them. I think it is unfair to look at Wesco and TJ Moore and say, hey, listen, we need you all to come in and not only, what we really want them to do is clean up the offense. And there's so many levels to that. There's so many layers to this, almost like an onion, that each unit has their thing that needs to be fixed. I would probably say the most solid unit, and I use that kind of loosely because a unit is more than one person, but no one here probably is worried about Phil Maffa. I'm not worried about Phil Maffa. The guy's going to come in with that 6'1", 230, 220 frame. I've heard he's lost some weight. I didn't see his weigh-in numbers today. But Phil Maffa is going to come in, and he's going to do what Phil Maffa does, and that's dominate. He has ran behind a line that's questionable. He still went out there and dominated. Ask Notre Dame. But it's unfair to ask these two new players, fresh out of high school, to come here and fix things that's really outside of, well, outside of their responsibility, you know? But everybody is looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I heard that Adam Randall looks good. He's all muscle and so on. The thing about Adam Randall is that you have to get healthy. And I hate it for that young man because he was, a 5-star coming out of Myrtle Beach? So I'm hoping to see him have a really good, healthy season. Stellato caught everything thrown to him last year. And he has been plagued with injury. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I heard he was in a boot today. Get in here, quickly say hello to a few people. Roger Parks. Roger is a supporter of the channel. You see that? He's a member. I'm here. Roger, I'm glad you're here. I forgot. I started doing the email thing to let you know that I was going live, and then I totally basically forgot it. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm glad you're here, my friend. It's good to see you. Jaden Butler's in here. Wet Sox in here. Joe Starks is in here. Martavis Bryant. I tell you this, I saw Martavis Bryant and DeAndre Hopkins play against one another in high school. I was at the game. I was at TL Hanna when Daniel played there. It was incredible. Tanya Moss in here. Deion Kane was overrated. Never had 1,000 yards. We never replaced ETN. We never replaced ETN. You're 100% right. But Deion Kane was still talented. I'd take Deion Kane right now, but you're right. We never have, and it's going to be tough to replace Deion Kane. Remember, folks, Elliott forsook the run when we had Travis Etienne. That's all I need to know right there. Going on down here, Rob Ellen, good evening. Good evening. It's good to see you. Wet Sox says tight ends might be the deepest position group this year. Hey, we've got a great tight end group. We really, really do. I hope we use them more. You are right, Wet Sox. I misspoke there. We're really solid at tight end. In between the tight end and the running back, we can give Cade something to work with. And these two new freshmen, people are going to be paying attention to them just because they don't want to be embarrassed by a freshman. But that's going to give opportunities for Antonio Williams. It's going to give opportunities to Tyler Brown and anyone else who can just get healthy and stay healthy to play for Clemson. I don't mean that sarcastic. It's really what's been undermining. I appreciate everybody being in here. So the question is, a lot of people are leaning towards is Cade. We know we have Matt Luke. I've told you over and over, it is unfair to Matt Luke and to his offensive line for us to put too much expectation on. Do I believe that the offensive line should be better fundamentally? Of course. They have a true expert coaching them. They have one of the best in the game. You talk to Georgia fans will talk trash about Clemson all day long, and then they go, oh, but Matt Luke can coach. That's how good this man is. But it's going to take time to fix some things. I do expect them to be better. I don't expect them to be night and day. I think that's unfair to them. It's unfair to Matt Luke. I've said that over and over, and I won't stop saying it. Why? Because we need to temper our expectations. I would rather be pleasantly surprised that the man worked some type of magic on them. And then all of a sudden they're playing like, Michigan's offensive line was last year, than to come out with that expectation, them be better, but not live up to an expectation that was outside of reality anyway, right? But everybody's looking at Cade right now. The guy's the quarterback for the Clemson Tigers. The guy took over for DJ a couple of years ago, won an ACC championship. He was put in a bad position in that Orange Bowl game. I've told you this, that in his freshman season, he threw 100 passes, 55 of them were in the Orange Bowl. By the way, go back and watch that Orange Bowl against Tennessee. We stopped running the ball there too. They couldn't stop Phil Maffa. But they didn't have to, because Clemson's offensive coordinator, I know he's gone, he stopped Phil Maffa just by simply not giving him the ball. This season, feed the rock to Phil Maffa, and then look at Cade and say, listen, we are setting you up. Well, you don't have to do much. You don't have to do much. You have 2 new wide receivers that everybody's thrilled about. You have one of the best backs in the ACC, and I would go as far as to say one of the best backs in America. I know some of you are going to go, well, so-and-so had more numbers than him, and this, that, and the other. I trust Phil Maffa in the situation we're in right now more than I trust most backs. We talked about the tight ends. We talked about the returning players like Tyler Brown and Antonio Williams. Just look at Cade and say, listen, man, you don't have to fit the ball in between 3 defenders to get it to your guy. We'd rather you be sacked or throw it away, right? So everybody is wondering, rightfully so, how is he going to play? How is he going to play? How is he going to play? And I hate that he's having to play Georgia right off the bat. I would love for him to have, like a Stanford right off the bat, and playing maybe a Furman, or, maybe played Appalachian State first couple of games. Give him some time with his group and with his receivers, and try to put off the 2023 season. But unfortunately, as luck would have it, he has to play against Georgia. And Georgia's coming after him. He knows it. His coaches knows it. They've been preparing him for this. But folks, I just want to pause there and tell you, Cade, I know you'll probably, even if you hear this, you won't listen to me, and that's fine. All I'm going to tell you is you don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be Superman whatsoever. And it is unfair of Clemson to ask him to be Superman. Supporting the channel makes me look good. That's true, Roger. That is true. Tiger Man, he is a junior. He certainly should be ready by now. If not, replace him. I get the sentiment. I don't disagree. I do ask, with who? Because I've read today that Christopher Vizina is still playing number 2. And I'm telling you right now, I would rather have Trent Pierman. If something happened to Cade Klubnik, based on what I've seen, I would rather them try Trent Pierman out there against Georgia than Vizina. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. And you're right, Tiger Man. He did look good. He did look good. Roger Parks, defense will be top 10. Offense will be improved. I hope so. I hope so. I've already told you this. If you watched my video earlier on, I'm about to shut up. There's 34 of you. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you like what I'm doing, or even if you hate my guts, I hope you'll subscribe. It's free. You can hate my guts and still support the channel. beggars can't be choosers. I won't take them. I'm about to hit 4,000 subscribers, by the way, which is really cool. I know there's guys out there who has 100,000, so great for them. I started this channel a couple of years ago. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not going to get on here and tell you everything is great in Clemson. I'm not going to do that. That would be a lie. Lying helps no one. Lying helps no one. Lying will sell, by the way. So lying will sell. A lot of people who are really good at lying. I'm not going to do that to you. I just think you're smarter than that. You deserve better. But if you want to support the channel, I hope you will. But what I look at is that Phil Maffa, and I was saying this just a second ago, Phil Maffa, I actually created a video that said Maffa equals 9 wins. And someone took that as though I was taking a shot at Clemson. Someone said that was like a really bad, like man, I'm tired of the negativity. And I was like, no, I'm guaranteeing you, versus out of the 12 teams that we're going to play in the regular season, 9 of them, Phil Maffa could be fed the ball 25 times and almost guarantee you 9 wins. Possibly against NC State too. I said you could possibly push 10 there. That's just saying that you really could feed the rock to him. That's good news to me. 9 wins just because of one guy. So what does that say to me? Because I'm one of these guys who looks at like really tough situations. Maybe you're in a corner and you really don't know what to do. Things are kind of not looking good. What you have to do is you have to break down whatever the situation is, whatever you're dealing with, if it's at work, whether it's personal, whatever it may be. You have to break it down into digestible parts, and you have to be really honest with yourself. The good thing is I'm telling you that the running back being fed the rock can win you 9 out of 12 games, a 75% of your season, just he alone. Oh, that's great news. What that means is I just need the rest of the offense to kind of be a contributor for the other 3 games, and we might ink out 1 or 2 more wins. For anybody who's paying attention, that's 10-2 or 11-1. That's great news for me, especially with the up and down nature of the Clemson offense over the past few years. The defense has been lights out. The defense has not fell off. I don't know what to say. But folks, what I'm really focused on, and I believe it's the focus of every Clemson fan in the world, will the offensive line improve just a little bit? Will they be better fundamentally? And will we see Cade Klubnik not try to be Superman? Because if he won't try to be Superman, we'll be in good shape. If we don't see him, sorry. Jay, do you feel like losing to Georgia could spiral the season, though, if it's a landslide? If Clemson gets crap beat out of them by Georgia, that's going to be hard to get past. Even if Clemson were to win 10 games in the regular season, there would always be that asterisk of, well, when you played a real team, they broke their foot off in your butt. And I would just say that yeah, it could get ugly. My goal for the Clemson game, if I'm Clemson right now, just go in and play good fundamentals, don't do anything stupid, and give the defense a chance. Because Tiger Man, you had a couple of good let me see. What about Dubba saying if he was recruiting someone in the portal, he would be the best? If that is true, why not start a few years ago? I saw that, and I actually have, thanks to the guys at Plant the Spear, they were actually at ACC Media Day, and they sent me the footage, my own footage I have now, of what he was talking to the media about. He was talking about if he were to have to leave Clemson and go to another school, he would have to rebuild. But I also took that from it as well. I agree with you. I wish that he would have got another quarterback out of the portal and really went after him. That's what I wish. Who would he went after? Grayson McCall. Grayson McCall is not God. He's not the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. Grayson McCall could help Clemson. Could really, really help Clemson. And if for anybody who wants to argue with me, sure, that's your opinion. It's my opinion. I'll just say this. Would you rather have Grayson McCall or Cade Klubnik? I've seen Grayson McCall play live several times, and he has had injury issues, okay? I'm not running from that. But without a shadow of a doubt, no shade at Cade because I've been pulling for Cade, taking up for Cade. He's inherited a terrible situation with little to no development, all right? Grayson McCall is the type of guy that you want in this situation. He's going to be a handful against when NC State's here. Let me see. Beg to differ on defense. We did not have great penetration last year. Let's see. How many sacks did we have? I will say I understand what you're saying. Our defense, a lot of times, even if there was a lack of sacks, our defense kept. I believe if our defense was not that great, we would have lost 2 more games. Wake Forest being one of them. On what was that? Homecoming. Defense. If the defense wasn't always playing up to snuff, I would say, we might even lost to South Carolina this year. It could have, folks. This season could have been easier. It could have been easier for us to have lost a couple of more games, too. That's one way to look at it too. Them slapping FSU 63-3 just makes me believe Georgia's going to be out for blood all season to leave no doubts. But good news, half the UGA team may be on house arrest by then. That's true. I wouldn't, if I was Kirby Smart, I wouldn't let them boys drive anywhere. I'd leave it at that. Grayson McCall not coming to Clemson with Cade already on the roster. If they would have guaranteed he would have got the starting job, he would have. But unfortunately, we're going to have to play against him now. And that's not going to be good for us. Yeah, Dabo was riding and die with him. I would have gone after Archie Manning. That's funny. That's awesome. Because Grays, I think Clemson and Auburn have similar acceptance rates and credits. Yeah, maybe so. Tanya, I see Riley blowed the FSU game. He should have ran the ball when we were in the red zone. He needs to learn how to coach big boy football. Tanya, tell me how you really feel. Yeah, let me tell you this sometimes, folks. Listen to me. If you're a high school football coach, or you know what, I coach my son, and I've coached both my sons in flag football, and it's just me and maybe one other person. This past year, it was my oldest son coaching my youngest son. And I'm going to tell you, if it's just 2 of you out there and you're coaching a bunch of kids who they really don't know the game and you haven't had time to give them signals and, work with them, you only have a couple of weeks, with them, which by the way, that's a lot of leagues. You're flying by the seat of your pants. That's not the case with this. Tanya's right. When you're an offensive coordinator, especially at a school like Clemson, you have your position coaches, you have your analyst, you have people who's helping you. I mean, y'all have talked about strategy and the game. Of course, Dabo can hit you up and go, "Hey man, why'd you stop running the football?" It's just interesting. All I'm saying is Clemson, for the majority of this season, needs to focus on run heavy, and then when they decide to pass, make sure Cade is not trying to do too much. But anyway, folks, thank you so much. You take care of yourself. It is so good it's good to see you here. We're getting closer to football. Once again, 4 weeks from this Saturday. Today's Thursday for anyone who's watching. Today's Thursday, August the 1st. So 4 weeks from this Saturday, Clemson and Georgia in Atlanta, 12 o'clock ABC. And then, of course, 3 weeks from this Saturday, it's going to be opening weekend, and I'm really excited about it. Even if it's teams that I really don't care about, it's college football, and I'll take it. I hope you will subscribe. It's free. It is easy, and I hope you'll hit the thumbs up. Have 43 of you in here. I hope you'll do that. Also, if you want to support on a monthly basis, there's a video, or there's a button right below here. I hope you'll click it. It's $3 or $5 per month. I wanted to keep it affordable because, hey guys, things cost a lot. So I do appreciate it. You take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.